So if you've been watching my stuff for a while, you probably recognize this remote. Now, I've made a new version of it, but as a quick recap for anyone who doesn't know what's going on here, my wife had to attend a conference in Australia, decided to take me along with her, and I took my litter buggy with me. The problem was that I was very concerned, I think pretty rightfully, that the remote for the rig would get damaged in transit. So I sought out a much more compact remote and found one in a DS600 single hand remote. Now, this remote has its own problems, but a couple of things that I didn't like on it, at least the main one that I didn't like on it, was that the battery was very small and internal and could not be replaced. So, with a very limited amount of time, I redesigned the housing once, and then again, and then again. And that's where we have the version 3 remote that we saw in the beginning of the video. Now, I've got a new version, and I'm going to show it to you. But let me explain one of the biggest problems that I have on this remote, just for general use, and one of the little special features is it's the same problem basically. So there's a cruise control on the front of this remote, but whenever you press on that cruise control, I have yet to find a way to do it with a single hand where your thumb doesn't push forward. Your thumb doesn't push forward as you are pressing on the cruise control because your thumb and your pointer finger are trying to squeeze together. So what happens is that you go to engage the cruise control and your rig jumps out, and then you have to uh, pull it back a little bit to get it to slow back down. Or the best way that I found to do it is to grab the control knob with one hand and engage the cruise control with the other, which kind of ruins the whole point. And we fixed that on the version 4. Now, the cruise control sits right underneath your pointer finger on the underside of the remote. And we made a couple of little changes to it. One, it's got the ribs underneath so your hand doesn't slide up and down on the remote and stays pretty stationary. The battery lid was modified just a little bit, and the Ryobi battery fits all the same. So I think this is a pretty good version of this housing. I'm still having other issues with it, but as far as this remote and its modifications, I am pretty well done with that on this version 4 housing. So, anyway, if you have any questions, send them to me.